Hello, guys. Welcome to the ninth episode of this series, Programming with Solidity for Absolute Beginners. In this episode, we are going to look at state variables and their features and activities that we can do to change the state of the state variables. Now, state variables are data storage locations within a smart contract, which can persist across function calls and transactions. Now, they are used to store permanent data such as contract balance, user information, configuration settings, data structures such as arrays, mappings, and the rest. Now, we will first define our contract, which is very important. So, contract, we call this contract state variables or state variable. So, state variable. So, first of all, I will define few state variables like string. It should be public. Then we call it my string like this. We will not assign it to anything. We have another one uint 256. Then it should be public. Then I'll call it my num, right? Something like this. Now, if I save this, if I deploy this particular contract, I'll have two state variables, my num and my string, and I have a balance of 0 each. So if I check my num is 0 because of we are using uint, then this one is empty string because we are using a string. Now, if I want to change the state of these variables, now what I can do is that I update them directly. So I could say string, right? Public, okay. Then I could have, let's say, def my string. It's a new variable, right? Equal to, let's say, hello world, right? So this one I'll just define it. So another type of is a form of a state variable, right? So I could also have uint 256. Then it should be public. Then I'll call it def my num. Okay. Then I could have 16 over there. Now, if I comment these guys out, then delete this deployment, then deploy again, I'll have, if I check my num is 16 because we defined 16 over here. This guy too is hello world because we've already defined hello world here. So we've changed the state of the state variable by putting the values directly to it. Now we can have other forms of data types. For example, we can have bytes, right? Like this. So this is another form of string, but this one will save you a lot of gas fee. So I can say public, then I could name it let's say um my bytes like this without giving it anything. Then if I save this guy, if I deploy this guy, and let's say the value without assigning any value to it, let's see the value of it. So my byte is this way, ox way. Now what we could do is that we could actually put value to it directly by saying byte public. Then let's say def my byte like this. Then we say equal to, let's say, hi, right? Semicolon it. Then I'll clear this deployment, deploy it again. Then we could see the value of it now. Okay, it's still something, right? No, def my byte. This one is have this way, right? Good. Now, another way we can change the state of a state variable is using a constructor. Now, a constructor is a kind of function that when you have a constructor in your program, it is the first thing that runs whenever you run that particular smart contract. Okay, so it's like a gateway in your program. It runs the first thing that runs whenever you deploy it, whenever you have it. If you don't have it, that's fine. But if you have a constructor, that will be the first thing that will run. Now, if for us to change the state variable using a constructor, what we can do is that we have the constructor keyword like this. We don't need to give it a name. So then we specify our parameters, but we need to explicitly um, bring the data types. Now string, then we put memory. Okay, don't worry about memory for now. There's a whole lecture on memory, so don't worry about it. So we could put, let's say, test here. Let's put test, then comma, then we specify our uint. Okay, then we put, let's say, number, right? Num over here. Now there is no need for us to specify public, right? There's no need for us. Now we want to change the state of these uh, um, state variables, right? Let me uncomment them. Let me uncomment it. So what we'll do is that we need to update it. So this is the logic to update it. You say my string, right? My string from here equal to the test in the parameter, right? So test like this. Then what we will do is that we will do the same for the num, right? So I'll say my num equal to underscore, sorry, underscore num, right? Like this, semicolon, like this, right? So if I comment all these guys out so that we can concentrate on the constructor, right? So I'll deploy again. It requires me to put in the test and also the number. So let's say I mean then I'll put 100, then I'll transact. Then once I can check the here by I check the string, I have my name then I have the 100 here. So that's how we change the state of the um, state variable using a constructor. Now we can achieve the same thing using a function, right? Good. So what I'll do is that I'll create a function. Remember our last um, episode we looked at function, right? So we say function, we create a function, then we give the function name. So we call this function update data, right? Let me make it camel casing. Update data. Now, after giving the name, we need to specify the parameters. So we give a string, then we give memory. I said don't worry about the memory for now. We'll explain it in the whole lecture for you to get it. So we give our first parameter text, then we give our uint, then we call it num. It's the same thing. Now we need to specify the scope. Now the scope is going to be public, right? It's going to be public. Then what we'll do is that we're not going to return anything. We just want to change the state. So I'm going to say my state. So I'll just copy this thing again. This same logic is what we are going to use over here. So I'll copy it, then I'll paste it here. Then what I'll do is that I'll comment this constructor out so that we can concentrate on this, right? So I'll clear this contract, then I will it's auto compile, so to compile it already. All right, so I'll deploy, then this is the latest deploy. So I have to update this. I think all right. So that's the function update data, right? So I'll put my name again. I'll put, let's say, 67 here. Then I'll transact. Then when I click on string, I get my name num. I get 67. So this is how we can what change the state of the state variable. First of all, we can do so by putting the values directly like this. Then we can do so using a constructor, or we can do so using a function. All right, so thank you very guys for watching, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.